I was impressed. That game between Nebraska and Creighton, first of all, those schools are what, like 45 minutes apart, hour, something like that. It's not too far. And Nebraska runs that state. Now, it's a football-loving state, but the football program hasn't given them much to love. The basketball program, certainly Hoiberg's done a nice job. We know what Creighton and Coach McDermott has done. Basketball's kind of become a heartbeat in that state. Big upset tonight. Nebraska takes out Creighton 74-63. This was an interesting game. Ryan Kalkbrenner has been absolutely outstanding to start the season, but tonight's didn't do much of anything. And Creighton shot 32% from the field. They were 28% Goodman from the outside as Nebraska takes them out. The significance of the result to you, Jeff, is what?
I think it's mammoth. I mean, especially when you go back to, I remember, I have Fred Hoiberg kind of dead and buried a couple of years ago as a coach in Nebraska. It was about a year and a half ago, and I think they were like 10-13 or something like that. And then they went in a run to finish the season. I think they restructured his contract at the end of the year. I think he took less money to come back for another year. And then last year, they were good. And listen, let me say this, first of all. Fred Hoiberg might be the nicest human being of any coach in the country. Like, he is that good a guy. Everybody loves the mayor. Everybody loves him. So everybody's rooting for him to win. But again, he had to retool this thing. And he lost one of his best players, the kid that transferred from Bradley before the season this year, Rick Mast. He's out for the year. So I was like, they're done. They're going to have no chance this year. But they brought in some other transfers, and they've been pretty good so far. But to go to Omaha, it's not that, again, you win this one in Lincoln, it's a nice win. It's a hell of a win. Not a nice win. It's a hell of a win for Nebraska. But you go to Omaha, which is a really tough place to play, and you beat a Creighton team that, again, is ranked. We're talking about threatening to win the Big East. And you do it with Raleigh Worcester comes over from Utah. You got the kid Burke, who didn't, do a whole lot at UCLA last year, but I know Mick Cronin loved when he brought him in. Connor Esigian, remember, he was benched last year at Wisconsin. He takes this kind of, I guess, group of misfits to some degree, and they go and beat their in-state rival. This is mammoth for Fred Hoiberg, absolutely mammoth. And it creates some questions with Creighton. I'm going to see him next week in Vegas at the Players Era. And at the end of that game, I don't know if you guys saw, but Stephen Ashworth, who's kind of their number 2 scorer, he went down with the ankle injury, had to be helped off, and it didn't look good. So we'll see what the status is of Ashworth.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Hopefully he's going to be okay. Nebraska, you got to love Hoiberg, like you said. He embodies everything you love about a college basketball coach, and I'm sure those guys love to play for him. They played their butt off defensively, and they shut down Ryan Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner's a stud. He's the big reason why they were picked to do all those things, Jeff, you said. Jarrell, how did Nebraska do that? Because Kalkbrenner, he's hard to shut down.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure if this was just a game plan thing on Nebraska's end, because for a guy of Kalkbrenner's stature, a guy that's, a multiple-time defensive player of the year, and at the end of the day, he's been in college for a while now. He's their leading scorer going into this game, and, just came off like a career night a week or two ago. Am I reading this right? He had 1 field goal attempt, and I watched the game. But I really didn't pay attention to like how much he scored. I knew he didn't score a lot, but I was like, when I was seeing the box score, I'm like,
hey, dude, I know, me too. That's why I didn't read it.
I'm not sure how that's possible.
Can't be right.
I was like, this can't.
But here's what I'll say about Kalk. Here's what I'll say. He had 49 points in the season opener, and I'm not sure which one's. Probably the 49-point performance was more surprising than him only taking 1 shot, because he is known for his defense. He's passive. He's too good a kid. Yeah. He doesn't demand the ball. And I think part of it's obviously on Creighton here, and part of it's on Ryan Kalkbrenner. You can't, especially when you've only got 3 guys on this team that can score: Pop Isaacs, Stephen Ashworth, and Ryan Kalkbrenner. It's on Kalkbrenner. Like, he's got to be a little bit more of an MFer.
Yeah, you got to. And at some point, that's what I said, even with Ashworth and, him and Isaacs kind of, did everything that they could do to kind of carry the load tonight. And Isaacs got it going for a little bit. And Ashworth made some shots, but I think he finished with like 7 turnovers. So he wasn't as solid with the ball as he usually is. But, you expect one of those guys to eventually, at this juncture, with the team that they have, hey, call. What you want to run? I'm coming to you right now. What can we do to get you a touch? I don't care. Let's get you to the free throw line. Let's run pick and roll. I'm just going to throw it up regardless of what happens. He's the biggest guy on the floor. So for him to have one shot attempt and, he's in theory your best player, one of the most dominant players in college basketball. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. But again, on the flip side of that, give Nebraska credit. They were really impressive. And to be honest with you guys, the game I watched pretty much the majority of that game, and it really wasn't close. They handily beat the hell out of Creighton, and Creighton was trying to make pushes and runs in the second half to get the lead back under 10. But every time they did, Bryce Williams or Juwan Gary just ended up coming out and making a big shot. And like you said, I love the addition of Connor Essegian as well too. We all kind of been waiting on him to break out. We know he can really shoot the ball, and that helps them replacing a guy like what's the kid name, Tominaga from last year, who really helped them stretch the floor a little bit as well too. But I think Nebraska's going to be good. I think they're going to be really good. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people in the Big Ten. So obviously Creighton got some things they need to think about, but I'm sure this is just going to be a one-off. Like, I can't imagine they have any more games where he's going to get one shot attempt and have 2 points.
Jarrell, if Ashworth is hurt,
is out
next week, they could be in trouble.
Yeah,
they could be in trouble in that event next week.
Yeah, they are in trouble if he's hurt. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Huge statement in Omaha. There is no question, and that is a tough place to play. They love their Creighton Blue Jays in that building, and you got to give Nebraska and Fred Hoiberg a lot of credit.